One is about the single shareholder. It gave me anxiety to hear that everything is under one name. How do you manage that office? Because when I opened Full Design Architects, I knew I couldn't do it alone, and it's because this legacy's got to continue, and we got to have other people do it. And that's why I didn't name it out of Fortuna, because I didn't want anybody else to have to embrace that name too, because I'm not even that great anyway. So, it literally gives me anxiety, because who is under the responsible controls? And how can you actually do that, right? And that little boss strategy that's not really implemented, I mean, they should probably done it now, like right now, do it, like today. Because we're very volatile individuals. So I'm just saying that it gave me anxiety. So how is everybody okay with that? Like, it's just very scary, to be honest. That's just that one.
Well, they take anxiety medication. That helps some days. No, I think it's been a bit of a storied history, probably the last 8 to 10 years, asking that question as the single owner gets older and older. We have the same issues, whether it's documented or not. Our HR, or people operations as we call them now, are trying to help us with succession planning, whether it's a regional role or the top owner of the organization. What I think is most challenging is you're sort of at the, I'll just say it, at the whim of what that owner is hoping to get out of the firm, or out of the legacy, or out of whatever it is that sort of fills that person up. And I think the beauty of what we have is we have an owner that wants the name to live on in some way, shape, or form. He wants the organization to live on. So that has provided this opportunity for a deputy CEO role, which that gentleman is a year younger than I am. So that is going to give us something. He also is working on what are the next steps. So just to know that a longer plan, transition plan is, even if it hasn't been announced, it is being worked on actively, does cut my anxiety pill in half, but I think it's a very real fear.
Yeah, the way I see it is just a comment, and it's probably a really bad analogy, but if you're a bank robber, you gotta know how you get out with the money. How do you leave, right? A lot of people are like getting into this business and they don't know how they're gonna walk out, because we're no eternals, right? I mean, we're not gonna be here for perpetuity, so that's very important to know how to get out. So the other question very quickly is, how do you value those shares? I'm all into all these stocks and all this economy and all this fun stuff. Yes, that's going on, right? So how do you value that? Do you have a valuation for the office, what it brought that year? Do you have an app? What's the cost per share? How do you know that? By the way, you should reveal a secret, like when they're selling. Yeah, somebody's dumping shares soon. We gotta have those money in the bank. So how do you do that? And without penalty?
So that's done through all accounting practice. We have a CFO. They work with outside advisors. We do every year. We go through a process where an outside agency looks at our books, does the complete, and I'm losing the word. It's pretty good.
Valuation.
Audit. That's the word. It doesn't make me happy when he comes in my office and asks me, do you know anything? But what it really was about was looking at multiple scenarios almost all at once, looking at the worst case scenario and the best case, and doing evaluation, looking at what is the backlog, what is the previous 5 years, what do you anticipate, what are the values of your assets and your debts, and it's a straight process of looking at that, and the shares are then valued accordingly. As well as the debts, the loans that we all took out to buy our shares as part of that. And the other thing is paying, in our case, maybe it's a little bit longer, paying out those partners, and it all adds up to a value. It's a